Hello, fellow female activists. Today is part one of a two-part series, and this is about small tasks that we can take on as fellow female activists and or anyone who's feeling like they want to be part of obviously saving democracy and are feeling a little bit uh, unsure of how to do that. Okay, this is where you want to be, and I'm going to break down an article, and I'm going to share with you that article right now. Okay, and this is so that you can understand that everything that we're doing can make a difference. Resistance comes in many forms. All right, so Cathy Perez here, fellow female activist and your wellness coach. And usually I'm just talking about specifically wellness or yoga, something to that effect. But I really enjoyed this article, which you're seeing right now. Okay, I want you to see the article, and then I'm going to go off screen share and then give you what I want to share. So this article again is from Kelly Jensen. Okay, thank you, Kelly, and it dropped on January 3rd. And it's 56 small tasks to be proactive against book censorship in 2025 and beyond. Why am I specifically talking about book censorship? Well, think about it. Free speech is directly related to censorship. Our First Amendment rights are being basically blown away. And so what we want to do is fight back in every way, shape, or form. This is a perfect example of how we can stand up, okay? We outnumber the oligarchs. We outnumber those who are trying to take away our freedom, okay? Trying to tear down democracy, human rights, so forth and so on. And we can do just about anything. Nothing is impossible, but we get to put forth some type of, list, right? Where our brains are made to like go from A to B, right? From one point to another in a straight line. And some of us are feeling paralyzed. So this was a really neat article because it gives you simple tasks, but they add up. And I am an avid reader. I love audiobooks. I love reading real books, right? And so I wanted to bring this to you in a mouse side, in a manageable way. So yes, I want you to read the article. That's why it's here. And I decided to go through the article and break out what I believe were kind of more bite-sized ways to view this. So I made a spreadsheet right here, actually. You're not going to see it though, because I don't want you to get bored. But what I want to get across is that, yes, read the article. Please, please, please read the article. The description and the link will be below in the description, I should say. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and give you what I believe should be in the column of free activities. Out of these 56 activities, there's actually about 30 that I believe are free, okay, and that don't take a lot of time. All right, so you don't have to put energy into it. You don't have to put too much, mind energy into that. And then tomorrow, part two is going to be about those activities that I believe are more time involved, and or maybe cost something, right? They might have some type of little small price tag. Nothing huge, but again, there's a difference between completely free, right? And then getting into your vehicle and then having to go somewhere physically, or again, getting out your checkbook, so to speak, right? Or using, whatever form of app for cash that you use, for those of you who don't have a checkbook. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead. And again, I know looking at me isn't the greatest, but I didn't want you to look at my boring spreadsheet or my Google sheet as it is. So I'd rather you be able to concentrate and maybe, take notes or something. But I think it's important to break it down because you may not want to read the whole article, but in this way, okay, I'm telling you, okay, what could you get done like right after listening to this? Because it's free and it's not going to take a lot of time, or at least not in my head. And then tomorrow, again, we'll go over part two, and that's going to be all of the other tasks that I believe are more time involved. Okay, it's going to take you physically going into some type of physical action outside of, let's say, your general personal space. Okay. All right. So the free list. All right. And again, to Kelly Jensen, thank you very much. So first, all right, get a library card or renew your old one. Okay. So again, remember, this is about book censorship, book bans, so forth and so on. Well, guess what? Getting your library card is freaking amazing. All right. I actually have planned a whole other video that talks about how wonderful the library is and how powerful the library card is. But right now, if you do not have a library card, and unfortunately, only 3% of the US population has a valid working library card, me included. All right. So I'm part of the 3%ers. And so if it's been years, guess what? Go as soon as you can. Now I said that this isn't considered time involved, but getting the library card is important and it is free. Okay, so it's free, right? And yes, you might have to go to the library, but it is well worth it. Okay, so um, the reason why I have it on the free is because it doesn't cost you anything. But two, it may be that in some cases you can actually renew your library card without going. I mean, I could be wrong, but again, either way, I still put this in the free zone because it's probably the most important. So I don't care if it involves time. Getting a library card is free and it's not going to take very long. Okay. So add it into a task that you're going to go, to the grocery store or something, whatever the case may be. But this is important. So I think that's like one of the most important. So get a library card or renew your library card. And again, you just have to go online to your library, right? Your local library and see what process is involved. Okay. All right. So number two, and there's about 30, okay, of the free in my book. So number two, write a letter to your local or favorite library and thank the staff for anything. Now, that letter can be real, which means you would need technically a stamp, right? That's now like 70 cents. You got to be kidding me. But if you have stationery, right? If you have stamps, then you can go the old school route and handwrite a letter. Or you could simply just go again online. Again, that's why I figure it's free. Write a wonderful email to, again, your local library, and then thank them for something, anything. It doesn't matter. Even if you haven't been there for years, just thank them for being librarians, right? They are a wealth of knowledge, and I can assure you they are very, very, very much grateful for any good news they can get right now. All right, so three, okay, on the free list of how we can, again, fight book bans is listen to a podcast episode that addresses book bans and the culture around censorship. So again, the article will actually give specifics, all right? Like she actually links up to different examples, and I just didn't want to do that right here and like keep showing you the article. I just wanted to take as fast as I can, all right? And then you can take action. But number three, again, is listen to a podcast, again, about book bans, right? Or censorship. It's directly related to what's going on right now. People, we already know as activists that we are right now experiencing a coup. Like it is a coup. And this is exactly what people in the 30s felt like in Europe, right? Specifically in Germany. So please, please understand that any small resistance, any small opposition matters, all right? We can now say, we're not going to stand for what other people let happen in Europe. We are in this right now and we get to fight, okay? So number three, again, is listen to a podcast, get educated on, again, an episode of some podcast that addresses book bans. Number four, I'm going to run out of fingers, huh? So number four, suggestion for free, okay, off that article, is to watch a TED Talk about PEN, the PEN America's Jonathan Friedman. So it was a TED Talk, okay? And again, there's a link to that specific TED Talk, but watch the TED Talk from PEN organization, PEN, PEN, PEN America's Jonathan Friedman, okay? And again, that is time involved, but it's free. You don't have to, you can go to YouTube, right, and find it, or again, there's a link in the article. So all the free is something that we can do that's not necessarily going to take us out of our personal space, right? So if you're, again, wondering how you can be in resistance, how you can be in opposition to what's happening to our failing democracy right now, believe me, this all matters. Okay, number five, free advice or tip, task that you can take, your CTA as it is, write a letter to your school board complimenting something about the work being done in your public school. This can be personalized if you're a member of the school through children. If you're not part of the school community personally, use this as an opportunity to highlight data or facts. Okay, you appreciate that the school has a full-time librarian in each school, or you are impressed how increased test scores over the last few years. All right, so even if you're not related to the school, just send a letter. Again, this doesn't have to be a handwritten letter. It can be, but compliment, all right, your nearest public school, right? You may find that's going to speak volumes to them. They are being hit from every angle right now. I mean, we might not have a Department of Ed, okay? By the time this airs when I drop it, it could be gone, the Department of Ed, right? So keep that in mind. All right, so running down the list, we're at number 6. So number 6, for free tasks, again, to fight book banning or censorship. Read the latest PEN, it's an organization, PEN America report on book banning in America. Okay, this is the most recent report as of writing, but you can anticipate new reports in April for National Library Month and in September for Banned Books Week. If we get there, right? So just so you know, right now, the National Archives is now being run by Mark Rubio. Yeah, that's not a good sign. All right, he's the Secretary of State. What the heck does the National Archives have to do with, again, the Secretary of State? Absolutely nothing. And basically, it means that we could lose all of our founding documents. Any document that have to do with how the real history of the U.S. happened could be gone. So again, get as much information as you can. Number 7, sign up for and play around in Fight for the First. Fight for the First, it's a website. Engage in one conversation, whether it is via asking a question or sharing knowledge you have, okay? Again, these are links, and so when you go to the article, you'll be able to get those links. Sign up for and play in Fight for the First. Engage in one conversation, whether it is via asking a question or sharing knowledge you have. Number 8, follow Florida Freedom to Read Project and Texas Freedom to Read Project via their website or social media, whether or not you live in either state. This is important. Again, people inside these states are already pretty much under a total regime, okay? So they are basically fighting like the uphill battle, like every single moment, right? That they're in school, that they're at work, so forth and so on. So by getting educated into what the other states are going through, this will help you understand better how we can fight back, okay? And again, free. This is the free list. So it's going to take time, okay? But it's not going to take you physically to go somewhere to get this done. So number 9, find out if you have a local anti-censorship, pro-library, pro-public schools group in your area. Follow their work and get involved in one activity. Can't find one in your town? No worries there. Look at your county or larger region. Still can't find one? Consider a local Freedom to Read advocacy group. You can coordinate using Fight for the First. Okay, so again, these are all tasks that you could take upon. They're free. And yes, they're taking time, but you're not having to go out and get anything done per se. Number 10, find your most local newspaper and write a letter to the editor about your public library. So this is a really easy one. Again, yes, it takes a little time to write a letter to the editor, and all of them have specifics. They have criteria, so make sure you go to the website, and then that's where you would then upload any type of editorial. So again, you wouldn't handwrite this. Everything now is obviously online. So you would, in fact, get on your wherever you're going to type this, and then it would upload onto the website. All right. But again, it's free and you don't have to go anywhere. You can do so from the comfort of your own personal space. Number 11, sign up for the Literary Activism newsletter. Already signed up? Forward a copy to a friend and tell them why they should sign up. So this is organizing in a way, right? I didn't what's funny is that I had four, I'll tell you right now, I didn't tell you earlier, but I actually originally had four columns. So free, money involved, time involved, and then organizing. Well, guess what? When we're in the middle of a coup, everything we do to resist is in fact organizing, just on a really small scale. So I didn't put anything in the organizing column simply because I'm like, well, this is all basically organizing, but on an individual level. Okay. Organizing usually means that you're collectively bringing a lot of people together, correct? In this case, small steps from a massive amount of people can tip the scale. Okay, that's what we want. We want immediate tipping. We want to work as fast as we can, but keep ourselves safe. All right. So again, number 11, under the free column is sign up for the literary activism newsletter. Already signed up? Forward a copy to a friend and then tell them why they should sign up. That's activism, people. All right. Number 12. And yes, I will be drinking water because this is a long list. Number 12 on the free list of the 56 small tasks that we can take care of to be proactive about book bans and or censorship. Find out whether your local library has a Friends of the Library group and find out how to get involved. Friends groups raise funds for libraries and are a way to get involved locally if you do not have the ability to run for a more demanding role, such as a library board trustee. So this is really cool. If you did not already know, again, because maybe you haven't been to the library in a long time, most libraries have this type of organization. And basically, it's a way for more books to get into the library without taxing, again, the library's very small budget. All right. So I've donated books to the Friends of Library group at my local library. Okay. So again, it's just a really easy way to be proactive. And maybe you have books, right, in your home right now. Now, again, this technically could be time involved, but again, we're just looking into how, right? How does the Friends of the Library group work, right? Maybe you do want to get involved, but for now, all you're doing is checking it out. All right, number 13. Borrow a book from my library book display. Bonus points if this is a book display about banned books that features the kinds of books being targeted, including those by and about BIPOC, BIOPEC, right, and LGBTQ people. Borrowing books from the library matters, especially for these type of books. They show interest and engagement from the community, and librarians use this information to advocate for their budgets and collection decisions. So again, yes, you physically would have to go borrow the book, but not really. If you already have your library card and it's instated, right, or is current, I should say, then you can actually go online and borrow the audiobook, right? So it's up to you, but everything you technically want to borrow can be done so online, and then you would either physically go get it, right? Or it would be something like a audiobook or an ebook. Okay, so that's why I put it in the free and not having to do much. But yes, if you physically want the book, you would physically have to go. So that would take some time. But these books are already banned in most public schools. We get to do everything we can to make sure that they're getting out, okay, to the public. Free number 14 tasks. Learn about the history of book banning in the United States. Okay, and then she did offer references again, but all I want to say is that's your task. It's free. Learn about the history of book banning in the United States. It's extensive, unfortunately, and just know that that could take a while. So yes, there's time involved, but you can do so in small increments, right? So not too bad. Number 15 on the free list. Request the library purchase a new or upcoming book by a BIOPEC or LGBTQ author. I like that one. That's awesome. And again, free. Number 16. Share those clicky stories about book censorship and attacks on schools and libraries with your networks. But don't stop there. When you share them, use your own voice to emphasize why paying attention and taking action is crucial and give examples of what you've done. So this is another example of organizing. Like those of us who are already in the organizing space, we already know that our influence matters, right, to our friends and family and people that we occasionally see, right? A lot of people don't realize how much power they have. So this right here, guess what? Technically, it's organizing. So free, but it's a task that anyone could take on. Share those clicky stories about book censorship that you learned about, all right, in number 15, and then go out and share. Because your opinion, your knowledge is trusted by your friends, family, and anyone else you might know. That's a big deal. The people who are being brainwashed right now, okay, they're not getting outside sources from anywhere. Well, guess what? If there's anyone on the other side who had doubts, guess what? This little information that maybe they hear from you, okay, because maybe you're a friend, you have a mutual friend, right? Or maybe you actually know this person, right? Any small dent in the facade that you can put into their head could help them come back to reality. All right. So do not think that this is just like, um, you know, uh, that it's not useful. In other words, all of these are very useful. That's why I'm sharing it. All right. So on the free list, number 17, share the less clicky book censorship stories too. The ones that are long and thoroughly researched stories of the destruction of institutions under the ongoing pressures of political groups. So again, you may not think that people are listening, but I assure you, people trust you and they value your opinion. So anything that you learn and then you casually bring up to them, it's going to resonate with them at some level. And they may even finally start to do their own research. That's what we want, that ripple effect. Okay. All right. So free task number 18. Step into uncomfortable conversations laden with mis or disinformation. This might actually be more scary to you than going and getting involved somewhere with a group of people. Trust me. I am daily getting to put myself into conversations that I otherwise would not with my family and friends. Now, thank goodness they all voted like this, the color of my my outfit. And there are still a lot of just there's a lot of, I guess you could say, because they're living their lives, they're not as involved as I am, and that's okay. That's why I get to step into the uncomfortableness that is informing others. Hey, did you know that this happened? Did you know that as of, last night, 30 hours of filibuster happened on the Senate floor? Like, they might not have known that unless I told them. So trust that when you share, it matters. Okay, so free task number 19. Write a letter to your state representatives about the importance of public libraries, citing data that emphasizes how well regarded and respected these institutions are. Ask your representative in that letter to support legislation that strengthens these institutions, even if your state rep is on the other side that wants to kill democracy. Okay, this all matters, all right? They all get logged. All the correspondence, all of the calls that go to state and federal, right, legislators gets logged. So their staff are taking up, all right, their time is being absorbed by us who pay their salaries. So that was 19. Now listen, because 20 is just like it, but watch the difference. Write a letter to your federal, okay, that's the only difference. Write a letter to your federal representatives about the importance of public libraries. What I just said in 19 for the state, now go ahead and do it for your feds, okay, for the federal national government. This matters. I have been on the phone every single day since we found out about all the horrible breaches happening to our tax money, to our actual treasury, right? I have been on the phone every single day with my senators. And I can tell you that it has finally worked. Why? I won't even go there. Okay, but all I can say, they're listening, right? They're listening. So number 21 on the free list, okay, of tasks that we can do to, again, get more knowledgeable about what book bans do and what censorship does to freedom. 21, is create a template letter for your state legislators that you can plug and chug updates into. This letter should cite data such as library use statistics in your state, literacy test scores in your state, and where your state stands when it comes to book bans. So again, we are emphasizing the usefulness of libraries, of reading, okay? We want to make sure that they understand that we don't want to live in censorship, all right? Free task number 22. Learn about Brooklyn Public Library's Books Unbanned program and share it with your friends and or any young people in your life. Anyone can get a card through the program, expanding access to materials. This is not the solution to book bans, okay? But it provides vital help to not only those struggling with book bans locally, but also those who may be unable, okay, to get into a local library and or whose libraries are not as well funded as Brooklyn's. So I heard about this back in like, oh gosh, I think it was back in 2020. But Books Unbanned program, awesome. You, even though you may not live right in New York, or in this case, even Brooklyn, can get a Brooklyn Library card. That is huge. And then they have this huge, right, uncensorship, lengthening of books, and the kids can go to work, right? No, they can't physically check them out, but it's all online. But that's okay because it's not censored. They can find the books they want. So this is huge. I love this one. Free task number 23. Understand the 4 types of book censorship from Dr. Emily J.M. Knox, alongside some of the history of how each type of censorship has been seen historically and in our current timeline. This link article is this distillation, I think I said that right, distillation of what you can find in this phenomenal testimony given by Dr. Knox. Okay, so back in 2023, this apparently was, it came out, right? Dr. Knox came out with this. So I say go for it and get educated. Again, this is all free. Yes, it will take time, but it doesn't physically mean you have to go anywhere. All right, so you can do this all from the comfort of your little bubble. Free number 24 task. Locate your library's collection management policy and or their book challenge information. If it's not on their website, go in person or make a phone call, okay, and ask them to find it. If your library doesn't have one, encourage them to get one going. So what this is, okay, so this is why it's still under the free, because I saw, okay, you can make a phone call. You don't have to physically go to the library. You can call, all right? So obviously, we've heard, right, that in these states that that have censored pretty much everything and everyone, what they've done is that they've made it so that one person in the community can go and basically say, oh, well, I'm offended by this book. It can't be in the public spaces. Hello, free speech. So every library, theoretically, okay, hopefully has some type of management policy when it comes to, again, the collection of what could be considered banned books and or the actual ability to find those banned books, right? So look up your library's policy. And if they don't have one, they best get one, because Moms for Liberty, yeah, they went crazy trying to ban as many books as possible in as many schools as possible. We don't want that, and we certainly don't want to get any worse, right? We want to make sure that we are protecting the library's free will as much as possible. So free task 25. Be a fact checker in conversations about banned books. If you hear someone talking about banned books as if they don't happen, ask if they are a boon for authors. Ask if they encourage young people to pick up the books. Speak up and dispel those myths, okay? So if you don't use your voice to set the record straight, someone else is going to do it for you. And again, this is about being uncomfortable. We don't have the luxury. We are in a coup. We don't have the luxury to be hesitant. Every moment counts, okay? It's no joke. Free task number 26. Watch one documentary about contemporary book banning. Okay, again, yes, that takes time, but it's not going to take you out of your personal space. You can do that, anywhere. Free task number 27. Utilize the tremendous work being done by Dr. Taslin Magusan in documenting every book ban across the country. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Crazy, right? But it's something you can do. And it's free. Free task number 28. Watch the video testimonials from librarians and educators at Trouble in Censorville to learn what it feels like to work on the front lines of the battle over books. Let me tell you, I know that stories sell, right? Facts tell. Half of the nation is not getting the right information right now, and that is scary as hell. Just so you know, PBS and NPR have now been kicked out of the press corps. So they're no longer going to be protected and housed in the Pentagon. They have been kicked out, which means they're not getting any funding. That is authoritarianism. That's what happens first. Media goes away. Or I should say independent media, right? Goes away. Neutral media goes away. So understand that when you read these video testimonials, that's a big deal. And then you get involved, not only externally, but internally. Okay. So free number 29. Bone up your knowledge of how a bill becomes a law and why it is so hard to pass an amendment. This is basic civics, but is easily forgotten. People, this is why we are where we are. It is a shame, and it's beyond pale why we're in this position of a coup right now, taking over what should be the longest running democratic, because, not everyone had the human rights that we should have, but more or less, right? This is a situation where, because people have no education, and it's not taught for a reason, all right? I had civics, all right? I am level 50. I am age 50. I had civics. It's not in classes anymore in high school. It's not in junior high. This should be taught from the very beginning of youth. And because our people are not educated on how our system works, this is exactly why it's so easy to be taken over. So we get to become very familiar again with how all of the branches of government work, not just from the federal level, but all the way down to your local level. All right. Free task number 30. Read the testimonials from teens who have acquired digital library cards from Brooklyn Public Library Books Unbanned program to understand their experiences with limited or zero access to banned books. Then read about the trends in the data and stories shared by these teens as of September 2024. Again, stories sell, facts tell. We need to be sharing everyone's stories because they matter. And that's what's going to get us over this. Okay, we collectively share to whomever is willing to listen, and that changes hearts and minds. Okay. And then finally, 31 on the free list. Look for stories about libraries, school districts, and book challenges, and create a list of journalists working in this space. Reach out to them with leads for new stories or with local content that might help with the follow-up story. Offer yourself as someone they can interview. Yes, be willing to put yourself out there. Let me tell you, it's funny. I'm actually very comfortable in the public eye. Okay. I've been interviewed since I was tiny. So I've been on TV before. I've been on, local networks. I've been actually in a national annual report for a major company. So like, I'm not afraid of front facing. All right. If you are not like me, that's okay. We need everyone collectively working to save democracy. And something as simple as just finding out who your local journalists are, who are in this work of trying to stop censorship and book bans. Guess what? That's a big step. And you will be surprised how empowered you are. Okay. So with that, that is the stop point for today. Tune in tomorrow when it drops at the same time. We're going to drop this at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, and same time tomorrow. And we'll be, again, finishing the list, and it's going to be then money involved list, okay? And then time involved, meaning physically having to go somewhere or, get out into your community. So with that, I thank you and we will see you really soon. Take care, take charge, God bless.